The Supreme Court stands as the final authority on American law, shaping the nation's legal landscape with every decision. Its 9 justices interpret the Constitution, resolve disputes, and set precedents that impact every American. Recent rulings on the Second and Fourth Amendments reveal the court's evolving approach to balancing liberty and order. By examining these decisions, we gain insight into how the Supreme Court continues to define the rights and responsibilities of American citizens. In a rare and remarkable display of unity, the Supreme Court recently delivered 5 unanimous decisions out of 6 major cases, a feat that stands out in today's often divided political climate. Such agreement among the justices is uncommon, especially when the issues at hand are as significant and controversial as those they faced this term. The 6th case was decided by an 8-1 vote, showing near total consensus even when complete unanimity wasn't reached. This level of agreement is notable, given the diverse perspectives and backgrounds of the justices. The cases themselves spanned some of the most contentious and hotly debated issues in American society, including gun rights, religious freedom, and free speech, topics that often spark passionate debate and deep divisions across the country. Yet despite these challenges, the justices managed to find common ground, working together to craft decisions that reflect shared legal reasoning rather than partisan interests. The court's strong consensus sends a powerful message. A commitment to upholding legal principles and the Constitution takes precedence over personal ideology, reinforcing the court's authority and legitimacy in an era marked by polarization and skepticism. Even in more technical cases, such as those involving class action procedures or the immunity of foreign governments, the justices provided clear, unified guidance, ensuring that the law remains consistent and understandable for lower courts and the public alike. This period of agreement not only strengthens public trust in the judiciary, but also demonstrates the Supreme Court's resilience and ability to rise above political pressures, reassuring Americans that justice can be impartial and fair. By setting aside their differences and working collaboratively, the justices reaffirm that the rule of law stands above partisanship, serving as a guiding light for the nation and a reminder of the court's vital role in American democracy. The court unanimously rejected Mexico's lawsuit against U.S. gun manufacturers, upholding federal law that shields these companies from liability for crimes committed with their products. In another unanimous decision, the court protected Catholic Charities' right to a religious exemption, ruling that serving the broader community doesn't strip an organization of its religious status. These rulings reinforce core legal protections for both gunmakers and faith-based groups. The justices sent a clear message: established constitutional and statutory safeguards remain strong. Together, these decisions show the court's willingness to unite in defense of foundational rights. Recently, the Supreme Court issued a significant clarification regarding workplace discrimination law. The justices ruled that claims of reverse discrimination, where someone alleges they were treated unfairly because they are not part of a historically marginalized group, must be proven with the same standards as any other discrimination case. This means that all employees, regardless of their race, gender, or background, are entitled to equal protection under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act. The court's decision reinforces the idea that fairness in the workplace is a fundamental right, and that every individual deserves the same legal safeguards when facing discrimination. By ensuring that the burden of proof is consistent for everyone, the Supreme Court has guaranteed a truly level playing field in workplace discrimination disputes. This ruling sends a powerful message to employers and employees alike. Justice does not favor one group over another, and everyone's rights must be respected equally, no matter their background or identity. In a separate but equally important unanimous decision, the court addressed the issue of free speech in the case of NRA versus Volo. The justices found that government officials cannot use their authority to pressure private companies into punishing or censoring speech they personally disagree with. This ruling protects not only organizations, but also individuals from indirect government censorship, ensuring that the right to express political views remains secure. The Supreme Court made it clear that regulatory power cannot be wielded as a tool to silence political advocacy or dissenting opinions. This decision upholds the core values of the First Amendment, reminding us that freedom of expression is a cornerstone of democracy, and must be vigilantly protected from government overreach. Together, these landmark decisions strengthen both workplace equality and First Amendment protections. They affirm that our legal system is committed to defending the rights of all individuals, whether in the office or in the public square. The Supreme Court's message is unmistakable. Fairness and free speech are non-negotiable principles in American society. These rulings remind us that justice and liberty must be preserved for everyone, now and in the future. The Vullo decision has major implications for media and broadcasting, warning regulators against using their power to chill speech. When FCC officials hint that broadcasters could lose licenses for airing controversial content, it raises constitutional red flags. The court's ruling empowers media companies to challenge government pressure that threatens editorial independence. This precedent protects the press from indirect censorship and reinforces the essential role of free expression in democracy. Courts now have a clear mandate to scrutinize government actions that could suppress speech. In a unanimous and closely watched decision, the Supreme Court addressed the wrongful deportation of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a case that raised profound questions about justice, government accountability, and the boundaries of judicial authority. The court ordered the government to take meaningful steps to help secure Mr. Abrego Garcia's return to the United States, while at the same time emphasizing the importance of respecting the executive branch's constitutional authority over foreign affairs and international relations. The justices carefully balanced the urgent need to remedy a clear injustice with the constitutional limits of judicial power, especially when it comes to matters involving diplomacy and sensitive negotiations with other nations. The ruling affirms that while courts have the authority to require the government to take action to correct its own errors, they must also recognize and respect the unique role of the executive branch in conducting foreign policy and managing international affairs. Courts can demand accountability and insist on remedies for individuals harmed by government mistakes, but they must defer to the executive when it comes to the delicate art of international negotiations and diplomacy. This case highlights the Supreme Court's careful navigation between protecting individual rights and upholding the fundamental principle of separation of powers that underpins the American system of government. The government is held accountable for its actions and errors, ensuring that no one is above the law, but the court also grants the administration the necessary flexibility to manage sensitive diplomatic relationships and complex international issues. For Mr. Abrego Garcia and others in similar situations, the decision offers a renewed sense of hope and the possibility of justice, even after a grave mistake. Ultimately, the outcome now depends on the administration's willingness and ability to act, as the world watches to see whether justice will truly be served in this landmark case. The Supreme Court's recent unanimous rulings project stability and reinforce its role as a nonpartisan institution. By speaking with one voice on divisive issues, the justices strengthen public confidence in the rule of law. The Abrego Garcia case exemplifies judicial restraint and respect for the separation of powers. The Vullo decision arms individuals and organizations with new tools to defend free speech against government overreach. These precedents will shape legal debates and protect core rights for years to come. In a divided society, the court's unity offers reassurance that equal justice under law endures.